Happy Wednesday, everyone! Coming to you live from the South Lamar studios. This is the hour streaming because we just want to bring you some news today.
Nice. Just cut it out.
How are you, Hagen?
I'm doing well. It's a little quiet over here in the
It's
annex
a little
today.
hot. It's very
No,
hot
it's
out
actually
there.
chilly in the office at least.
Yeah,
Outside,
it's
I'm sure
just
it's very
cold.
hot. I haven't been outside in hours. James keeps me locked to my desk, so
Chained up.
that's right. Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to some people here.
Yeah. But other than that, I'm good. How about yourself?
You're pretty good. Busy.
Yeah.
I know, in a way, summer's wrapping up. It just feels that way
I
because
know.
I don't know if you know, but our interns are leaving soon.
I realized that earlier today when I was getting my coffee. But we have like a week left or so.
Some of them, I think, starting to leave this week. I think.
This week.
I think the Austin VDC interns don't leave until the 14th. So I think
Still
think
at
those.
least have them.
I know. I think most people do start school the 21st. So I think it's coming up. So
Wow, that's sad. The
Busy.
summer's gone by so fast.
I know.
It's been so quick, but it's been so fun.
It's just so fun.
It's always.
If you watch some of the presentation this interns gave, they were pretty cool.
They were pretty impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll be shared with the company in some way or fashion.
I don't know. I was pretty blown away though by some of them.
I got to almost watch Megan's today. Shout out Megan.
Almost.
Almost because I opened it. She sent it to me individually because I asked her. But then when I opened it, said not available. So
Marketing took them down.
I guess or something.
One day only.
But besides that, pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah.
just staying busy. Going after some pursuits here and there. So
Ooh, that's exciting. Always. I guess we're always pursuing pursuits. Gotta stay afloat.
we do.
Yeah.
What is R&D working on nowadays?
We're still wrapping up some of those projects I think I mentioned last week. So wrapping up those, but really focusing on our processes this week. So I've been doing a lot of documentation on those said projects that we're wrapping up, making some guru cards and also kind of learning some best practices for James and myself and any future R&D engineers as we continue to hopefully grow in the near future. So
It's part of your innovation effort to go paper instead of technology.
well, that was because technology failed me earlier today, and because I'm currently using the iPad as our Wi-Fi at our new apartment because we haven't set it up yet. But come Thursday, I'll have my fancy iPad back.
For next week.
That's right. But other than that, just kind of in between things right now in the R&D world, but still plenty of things to work on. So James and I are gonna get cooking here pretty shortly,
And that dude.
including doing some big things with Dallas Pre-Con.
Ooh, can you provide any details on that?
I can't. That's really James's area, but I know we're looking at kind of estimates versus actual job costs and kind of doing some comparisons there and seeing how things fluctuate during the actual building process. I think that's kind of the idea with that. Again, he's more in the know on that, so maybe when you interview him, he'll tell you more.
When I interview James?
Sure, why not?
No.
Okay.
We need a professional interviewer, someone like Laurel,
Yeah, that'd be
planting the seed,
amazing.
future
An
pod.
amazing idea.
But that's pretty excellent, though.
Yeah.
Nice to hear it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard of the guest today, but he's a big shot in RO.
Is he
He is.
already doing the guest intro?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
But I wanted to sprinkle,
Oh, okay.
tease.
Okay, sure,
No
sure, sure.
teaser. He's a participant also in the innovation challenges.
Oh,
so
yes. Yeah, he is. A very big, he submitted a lot of ideas, just ad hoc ideas as well as challenge ideas. So
I'm sure James will have a lot of questions for him.
a lot of questions.
But
Grill
we-
him on those ideas.
But before we get to him, I think it's time to do a little segments.
I think it is, but where's the wheel?
Where's the wheel?
Where's the wheel?
Waiting for the wheel. Waiting for the wheel. Waiting for the wheels go round and round, round and round. Right, there it is.
The wheel,
The
yay.
wheel
Who do you-
and the actual wheel.
Who do you who's spinning today?
You can spin.
Okay, I'll start.
Da, 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 da.
No idea what it is.
We have, I believe, RO wins.
Oh, RO wins! Woo! Okay, so RO wins. I don't know if we had. This might be the first time.
No wins?
Do you think we should move the wheel or should we leave it?
I think we'll do one more, so.
We'll just leave it. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well, it's kind of in the way of everything. So.
It's okay.
Okay. Well.
Work on placement next time.
Yeah. So I don't know if we've done RO wins. It was previously not building around the world. This week in history, and we kind of did RO stuff, but now we're doing specifically RO wins is kind of
Are you saying it's a new segment, Hagen?
we're splitting this past week in history into 2 segments. So this is exciting things that happened in RO's history this past week. Call it RO wins. There you go. So some anniversaries. Mike Helmke, 2 years, and he's actually related to our guest.
They're not siblings.
Well, they're not siblings.
I
No,
don't think they're even from the same city, dude.
no, but he's a QM here in Austin, right? And he's on the same job site as our guest.
Yes, he is.
Hugh Isles, who I think you've worked with.
Yeah, pre-con.
Yeah, a fair amount. He's also a big Innovation Station user, 4 years. A gentleman named Mark Medina, who I've not had the pleasure of meeting. That's 5 years, field engineering
In
up in
Dallas.
Dallas. Oh, you know him?
Yeah.
Any exciting
I don't
stories
think I
about?
know him.
Okay, no exciting stories.
He's not in Dallas.
How about an Edgar Juarez?
No.
Okay, he's an assistant super up in Dallas, 8 years. Woo! Big applause for that one. And then we got 2 decaders. And they're both 2 guests that we've had on the show.
The Decaders?
Yeah, Garrett Pesnell and Kane Young.
Wow.
And I'm not going to tell you anything about them, because if you want to know more about them,
You gotta watch the episodes.
Yes, watch James interview them. Both very interesting. Some very tech-heavy conversation with Garrett, and then Kane had some funny stories to share about his time on the job site. So, and then lastly, back in 2014, this past week,
2014.
we completed the Preston Trail Community Church.
What do you know about this project, Hagen?
Well, Bruno, let me tell you, it's a 1,500-seat, 88,000 square foot church with a 2-story education area for the little ones. And they also got a nice state-of-the-art AV system, which if you look over there to your right, Bruno, you'll see us. Your left, sorry, my right. Another state-of-the-art AV system we got back there, thanks to James Holmes and his.
Where was this one at?
I don't know. Up in
Good
Dallas.
research. Good research.
Yeah. I didn't. But hopefully
Is it not research in your title?
no. I'm
or
just
in the
development.
engineer?
I'm just a development
Just
engineer.
making sure.
Yeah,
I just got
yeah.
confused.
Yeah, I'm
Trying to
sorry.
set the expectation for next time.
Yeah. But they got a little cafe and some admin offices and things like that. It's a very nice project.
Do you have? Do you get to see photos of it?
Yeah. Hopefully it's up there on so the viewers can see it.
Right there.
So, there it is. Look at that. So they can kind of see it.
I don't think I've seen it. It was completed well before I started here. So
Well before you started.
well before.
I was just a young
Buck.
graduate student.
Still?
Yeah. Wait, when did I graduate? No, we were in undergrad.
I know.
I always get those 2 years.
Yeah,
mixed
when
up.
you're in
I was
school for like
so
20
long,
years,
yeah,
it's hard to remember.
Yeah, it really is. But that's been RO wins.
Woo! I'll
Spin that wheel, baby.
We have some time for one more.
Can you reach it? You can also use your other arm. Got plenty of time. We're still applauding.
Yeah, it's crazy. The applause, the crowd goes wild.
And if we could get some help reading the next segment, please, that would be wonderful. From our own Josh Beck.
Oh, special
I
guest.
can't read that from here. What's it say? Around the world.
Oh, hooray!
Oh.
Building around the world. Perfect. This is your thing.
This is our thing.
Well, this is you did the research on this one. Remember, I'm just development.
Yes, not research. But the project I wanted to share is actually pretty fascinating. I hadn't seen anything like it or heard about it at all. It's in Saudi Arabia, and it's called The Line.
Ooh, tell me more.
Oh, it's a pretty futuristic city that's about 500 meters tall. If you know your development, you know it's over 1,600 feet tall. It's a mirrored linear city that stretches over 170 kilometers. Do you know how many miles is that?
It's not 170.
Nope. but
110.
it's over 100 miles
It's close.
across the desert. So that's a pretty long city that's also tall.
Okay.
I'm sure you look very confused, but
Well, like it's all that. Oh, it's okay. I think I know it. So it's just like a giant building that's that big. essentially?
very long, yeah, and
That's
tall.
crazy.
And it's just very mirror-esque, and it's designed around the 15-minute city concept because it aims to house 9 million people, and it's incorporating a few eco-friendly elements and has futuristic technologies that they've been rumored, such as robot maids and
Love
get
that.
this one, an
Uh-huh.
artificial moon.
An artificial. So they're like making a. Have you seen the?
Futuristic city.
What's the name of that movie?
Dune.
The Truman Show. They're
Oh,
making like a Truman Show.
I haven't seen that. So I'm not aware.
Oh, okay. Well,
But it is an ambitious endeavor because it is being divided across 135 massive modules.
Hmm.
And the excavation has already begun, so you
Okay.
might be able to see some drone footage from over there.
interesting.
And it's pretty crazy. It has written
So
a few.
they're building it. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh wow,
it's already
I thought it
happening.
was just a concept thing.
Did
Wow.
you not do any of the research after
This
I
is- you
provided the
did
news?
I'm development. I don't research.
There are a few topic of concerns around regarding like human rights, environmental impact, and disruption of the local ecosystem. So we'll see if this project proceeds, but if it does, it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool milestone for everyone. I didn't see an completion date, but if you look it up, you can see how crazy this project is.
It might also be on the screen there. It was.
It was.
It was. It was.
But yeah, you should look it up. Pretty cool.
Okay.
Those Saudis are doing some crazy buildings
They
out
are
there.
making some huge mega structures.
But I think with that, I think we're ready to introduce our guest.
Yeah.
Because
I
you
think
know
we
who
are.
has built mega structures here in RO.
Plenty of people.
Our very own guest today.
Okay. Him as well.
I know if you got a chance to work with him.
Yeah, a tiny bit actually.
tiny bit,
actually,
right?
no,
Had a good time.
a decent amount for
Do
me.
you know? Yeah, him and I actually go a little way back. We were in a project together called the Quincy,
Oh, really?
formerly known in the project folder in the R drive as the Red River Project.
Oh.
So everything I know about being on the field, he has taught me. Everything I don't know, it's also his fault. But he's a very close friend as well. And I don't know if you know, but he also went to UT,
I did know that.
fellow alumni. He's a little older age than us, maybe like a year or two. I think he graduated 2015, 16. He'll correct me later. And
Well, I graduated in 2016.
yeah, no, I think he's somewhere in there.
Okay. He's our age.
And as you can see by our logo that you drew, he's a New York
did not.
fan.
You're gonna give
He's
me
from
credit for that,
there.
Caroline?
He's a big sports fan as well. So into soccer, football, and obviously the New York Giants. Because as I said, that's where the big city's at. The Big Apple's at New York.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that before.
Have you heard what's in Minnesota?
No.
The Minneapolis.
Oh,
But
oh.
that's just beside the point. I'm getting off track here.
Oh, that's pretty clever. You should,
Thank you.
talk to Kevin about that one.
This,
That's a good
nah, that one was for Kevin. That was for Kevin.
Wow.
Well, very exciting young man. He loves innovation, loves tech. He's always willing to try new things out. He's a fan of all and a favorite to a couple. So I'm looking forward to hear what he has to say. And I think you guys will get to learn about Mr. Brandon Arias.
Yay, Brandon.
So you'll get to see his interview shortly after this commercial.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
You've had the emails come in, you've seen the text messages, been talking about it for quite some time now, and the time has come and gone, and hopefully your multi-factor authentication is set up. Dr. Fritz, what is the multi-factor authentication? What does that mean?
It is a way of authenticating in multiple ways. So not only are you required to use your password, but you will now need to use something like a text message sent to your phone, or what's recommended is the actual Microsoft Authentication app, which you can download on your smartphone. And when you try to log in, it'll send a little code to your smartphone, and you'll have to go to the app and then type in the code, and then you can be authenticated and have access to all your RO things.
There you go. And that's going to make your account more secure. All the crazy cyber things going on out there in the world, this will ensure that you have the lowest amount of possible risk. And I know our IT department has done a great job of putting together some how-tos on
Playbook.
I believe there's a half-hour video taking you through each step, showing you how to piece and pull it all together so you can have full authentication into your Microsoft account. Anything else, Dr. Fritz?
Have you set it up?
As a matter of fact, I have. I did so this morning.
How easy was it for you?
You know, very easy. By the time you're watching this, has already happened. So hopefully you've done it. If you haven't, reach out to your regional IT managers, put in a help desk ticket, give them a call. I guess if you don't have internet or email access and all that, you're going to have a hard time getting a help desk ticket in. But find a way to get a hold of them, and I'm sure they can get you squared away. Unfortunately, there's no alternative. It's something you're going to have to do, so might as well jump on the bandwagon and be happy about it. Enjoy security, right? We Americans, we love security.
Absolutely.
Social security, military security, uh,
Home automation.
home
Security.
automation security, maximum security.
Wow.
You got security all over the place.
Everywhere.
Go get your security today.
Go ahead and make that into part of the job. And I'm hoping that Mr. Josh figures out how to mute that YouTube
Yeah.
sound over there and stop the commercial. And if not, we'll just listen to YouTube.
Are we live or are we?
We're rocking and rolling.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought we were still in commercial.
No,
break.
we're good. It's tough
Cool.
to tell at times.
Yeah.
You know, we've got the B team back there. Mr.
Yep.
Gonzalez has been struggling. I don't know what's
What are
the
you guys
funny-
doing over there?
the funny part about that is that no one downstream might have been hearing that. So we could be getting all this weird stuff going on, and they're like, "What's
Gotcha.
going on? Why are they freaking out?"
Yeah.
It's just another Wednesday stream.
Yeah. What episode is this?
Oh gosh,
What
you're
are we
making me-
on?
I think this is number 31
Sweet.
of this year. So there are 2 more, so 33 total.
Okay. Cool.
Man,
It's a lot.
that feels like something now. Yeah,
It's really growing.
it's crazy. But today we're here with you,
Yeah.
Mr. Brandon Arias, and I love getting to spend time with people like yourself because you are not
Cool. Okay.
you're not a bystander to your environment. Like you're constantly looking at things and analyzing and thinking, how can we do this better? How can we improve this? What are some necessary steps that we can eliminate, or what's making life the most difficult for people? You're constantly looking at everything with a critical eye, and I think that is what makes you such an incredible person. But
Appreciate that. Cool.
what makes this such a great place to be too is the fact that we have people like you, and we try to enable them, make sure you guys have the tools and ability to go and make those improvements happen. So thank you for taking some time off that job site to hang out with us
Oh,
today.
definitely. Yeah. It's nice to take an hour, away from all the chaos that's going on out there. So, yeah.
Just
thanks
to
for
spend an
having me.
hour in the AC, right? If
Yeah,
nothing else.
Yeah.
So you've been here for a little while. And I think we're similar timelines at RO.
Yeah.
What do you love about being here? What's kept you here for as long as you've been?
I think really the people and the projects that I've been on. I can, think back to whenever I first started as I actually started out in VDC as an intern. Moved to Dallas, worked on a couple of jobs in Dallas, worked on a project in San Antonio, and then came back to Austin. But every project I've been on, I was able to, just like I could name you a list of people that have been like good mentors, like people that actually cared about me and like my career and like wanting, I guess, me to succeed and grow and things like that. So I really think the people, and on top of that, just kind of randomly, but like I want to say it was like the last freeze or maybe it was around COVID, even like Cisco just randomly called me one day, I was kind of caught off guard and I was like, oh, Cisco's calling me, like, what's the deal? What did I do? He was just checking, see how we were managing. And, I think to work for a company like that where your president can, can just call you just to make sure you're doing all right and just everything that they're doing with, Austin FC and trying to get everyone together, kickball, things like that. I think that's really important. So.
Definitely. Yeah. That's so many things I want to pick apart there. First of all, I had entirely forgotten that you started off as a VDC intern.
Yeah.
So for those that aren't familiar, what is your current role?
I'm currently an assistant superintendent.
So VDC intern to assistant superintendent.
Yeah.
That's a little atypical. How did that happen?
Yeah, my whole entire career path, I guess, was atypical. I went to school at UT. I studied architectural engineering. I actually originally wanted to go into architecture, but coming out of high school, I was really good at mathematics, physics, and things, and so architectural engineering was more intriguing. So I followed that path, and then come senior year of college, whenever I was junior year, I was looking for internships. Actually found an internship at a structural engineering firm, which was not for me, which is why I wanted to, take a chance in construction. So I didn't grow up in construction. My parent, I didn't have any family that like led me to that path. But I was taking some BIM courses and things like that, which is why I guess interned in the VDC department. Looking more at like technology, um, modeling, spatial coordination, things like that. So that was kind of my introduction into construction. And from there, once I got hired full time, they put me as an OE up in Dallas. There wasn't anything available in Austin at the time. And
Oh, if
kind of
times
from
have
there,
changed.
yeah, exactly. And so from there, I just worked my way up, realized that I loved being out in the field, coordinating with trades and things like that. I also speak Spanish, which is super helpful, I think, especially here in Austin. So just kind of everything aligned for me.
You mentioned spending some time as a structural firm as an intern and feeling like that wasn't for you.
Yeah.
What was it about that made you think this is not where I should be?
Yeah, it was like a smaller firm. They designed, structures for like apartment buildings. They had a bunch of spreadsheets. They weren't like very technologically advanced, but like, we were using Excel spreadsheets, and it was really just inputting data. So if you're designing this beam, you put species of wood that you're using, length of beam, whatever information, and then it would just spit you out a size. So it just really felt more like you're just inputting data. Didn't get to use any like cool, structural analysis type programs. And on top of that, you're just sitting, behind the desk all day. So, come lunchtime, I was already exhausted and, wanting to move around. And yeah, just it wasn't for me.
You're burned out and you've got the fluorescent light flicker headache going on.
Yeah.
You're like, get me out of this cage.
Yeah,
Give me
exactly.
10 minutes of freedom. We can't do that for Dr. Fritz, unfortunately. He's like a dog that doesn't behave off leash. I've got to keep him close to home.
Yep.
Afraid if I let him off, he's going to scurry about and disappear. But so far, you've been able to hold on to him. You brought that up for yourself, sir. But so then, you came in with RO. Was that Christine Chang that you would have been hired by then? I guess.
Yep. It was
Shout
Christine
out
Chang.
Christine, just snatching up all the good people, yourself and Lily and Bruno, and she's got a hell of a track record for getting people on board at RO.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember meeting her. I think it was at a Architectural Engineering Institute. It was one of our organizations at UT, and they would bring in different companies, and RO came to that, and I actually did meet Christine there. So that's where I first met her.
Ditto.
Yeah, really.
It was. I can't remember who it was with. I think he's gone out. He's an assistant super or something like that. Came down to Texas State, and I remember her talking about all the BIM stuff, and I was like, "It's the one student
like,
that's
I wanna
like,
do
I've
that."
got a question. Yeah. What else can you do with this? How else do you guys
Right.
use it?"
Right.
And I think what really sold me was whenever they talked about rebuilding the structure from the ground up, or else you can look at plans, and certainly with a lot of experience, I think of like a Denny or a Troy or something like that, you can look at plans and you can mentally visualize what that's like.
Yeah, absolutely.
As someone coming out of school, you can look at a set of plans, you don't have any idea what that's going to look like. So it made so much sense to me to like, oh, let's build this thing virtually and see what it's like. And, it's going to provide me a better understanding of what's going on versus trying to go off of a 2D set of plans and some elevations and all
Absolutely. And the amount of time I use the model on Procore, I reference that every day, just kind of looking at drawings, going through the floor plans, and then looking at virtually, like you said, in 3D. I mean, that really gives you a much better perspective over what you're looking at.
I feel like you have a bit of an edge on a lot of other folks with your VDC background, because I would think those tools are something that are highly valuable and becoming more available, especially with things like the Procore Model Viewer. Do you kind of look at how some of your peers operate and think, oh, I can figure that out quicker. I could get to that resolution sooner, what have you?
Yeah, I won't call anyone out, but
Whoa, I'm not trying to start fights.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's pretty easy for me to navigate everything. I mean, even just if there's issues with the printer, I'm like right there. I'm pretty much IT, I have been on multiple of my projects, but that's fine.
Field IT. I like that.
Yeah.
What's you're out there in the field as an assistant superintendent now, and what are some of your favorite parts of that job role? What are some of the things you get really fired up about doing day in and day out?
I think coordinating work, having meetings and making sure all of your subs know what they're doing, making sure that you have a good flow, everything's planned out. Because I think one of the most satisfying things and rewards is, you get work done and everything happens as you've tracked out. Everything's organized and things like that. Whereas, one of the biggest downfalls is you're having to redo something because someone got ahead of you and you weren't thinking about it and people weren't coordinating, things like that. So I think that's probably my favorite part. And then also just every day is different. There's a lot of problem solving involved, so it's not just mindless. So it keeps you engaged. Some days more so than not, but yeah.
It's you hit on a word that I love to hear there, and that's the problem solver one. And I think superintendents in construction, whether you be in residential, doing high rises, civil work, whatever it may be, those folks that are actually out there, like you said, coordinating with the trade partners and getting work to happen. I feel like those are some of our most undervalued people, not necessarily in construction, but like as a society.
Yeah.
They are some of the last great critical thinkers. I'll go ahead and pick on some of the other professions like doctors and attorneys and things like that.
Yeah.
How many times do you hear about someone going to a doctor and like they read off a checklist? Oh, do you have this symptom? Do you have this symptom? Okay, have you tried this? Yep, we'll take this pill. And it's turned into this formulaic approach to healthcare, and with attorneys and all that, like oh well, here's a case that sets some precedent. We're going to work off of that. But whenever you find those superintendents out there working on things, they're having to resolve unique problems day in and day out.
For sure.
How do you think that you can kind of spread that from? So the superintendents are very good at that. How do you think they can turn that into something infectious for everyone else to benefit from, whether it be someone in VDC, accounting, safety, whatever?
Man, that's a tough question.
Yeah, I sent you a list, but
yeah,
it doesn't
that
last
wasn't on the
long.
list, so I'm a little unprepared now. I don't know. I think it's really just everyone. If you want to succeed, then yeah, you're gonna have to go out of your way and figure out how to problem solve instead of just being there and kind of going with the flow and yeah, I don't know. It's difficult to get people to do the things that you want, and like you have your agenda, and spreading that can be difficult.
For sure, preach. Yeah.
Some people, again, some people just show up to work just to be there, just to get a paycheck,
Right.
But I think with your attitude, maybe, and like just how you come across with people whenever you go to work, and like if you're yelling at someone, don't have a good attitude, no one's going to want to do something for you. Whereas, you're communicating, hey, we need to get this job done, like this, how we can do it, let's do it. Then, you can get people to do what you want,
I was just listening to someone, I think it might have been an audiobook actually the other day, maybe a Jordan Peterson or something like that. They were talking about the impact of feeling like something can be done versus the sentiment of we can't do this, but we need to figure out a way is such a mind shift for people.
For sure.
So yeah, if you go out there with that kind of negative thought as your default, you're probably not going to win over a whole lot of hearts and minds. But if you can go out there and be like, hey, we're going to get this done, we're going to knock it out of the park, it's going to be a fantastic project. But to get there, these are the things we need to execute on.
Absolutely.
It's going to be much better received and a much more positive outlook.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, you mentioned the fact too that there are some folks that show up and punch in, punch out, and what they get done is what they get done, and that's kind of that. And you can't make it as a superintendent doing that.
No.
There's a physical manifestation of your work that literally the entire company sees and revolves around. So if you are the type to kind of, what's the word? There's what they call that? Quiet quitting.
Quiet quitting. Yep.
Yeah. If you're a quiet quitter, like you're not going to make it as a superintendent. So you can't succeed in that role unless you're proactive and have some, high executive capability.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Fun. This is fun, right? Digging in these little mud holes, seeing what's out there.
Yeah.
So we got the story on how you ended up at RO, going to UT, interning, and all that. But you got this Giants thing going on here.
Yeah,
and
go Giants.
we're
I
about
hope everyone that's watching is a Giants fan. You know.
we're about 1,400 miles away. How'd you end up
Yeah.
being a Giants fan, or how'd you end up in Austin? What was the path like for you there?
Yeah, for sure. So I was born in Queens. We moved to Pflugerville, suburb of Austin, back in 2004. My mom's brother and sister lived in Austin at the time. There was a lot more development happening in Pflugerville. My parents were, we just had like a little apartment, if you will, in New York. Everything was just really expensive. School systems weren't great, and I think my parents made the decision for us to come to Austin. Just kind of talking with her family and seeing what better school districts and they would be able to afford a house and things like that. So yeah, they made the decision.
I'm speculating here.
Yeah.
2004, Pflugerville. I think we're about the same age, so you would have been somewhere, I'm guessing, high school or freshly out of high school. Were you trying to be in Friday Night Lights? Were you trying to pursue an acting career?
No,
Because wasn't that filmed over there at Pflugerville?
it was. I think they filmed like the first episode at our stadium, which I didn't go to the filming. I don't remember what I was doing, but had friends that showed up.
Oh, so you were there for it. This was like
I was there whenever
For
they
you,
were
yeah.
filming it. Yeah.
that's kind of
Absolutely.
wild.
Yeah.
I imagine that school just went bananas whenever all that
Oh,
was
yeah.
going on, because that
Yeah.
was like I feel like that was quite the thing for a period of time. The whole was it TV show or whatever, right? Miniseries,
Yeah,
whatever
it was actually pretty good. I mean, it took me a while to actually start to watch it, but I watched maybe like a season or two, and I mean, it was really good.
Not quite as good as watching the Giants.
No, yeah. Well, I don't know. The Giants have been kind of
What year?
they've been really painful to watch. Yeah, if you're talking back, 2010, 11, last time they won the Super Bowl, sure, like that was awesome.
Has it been that long?
Oh yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah.
It
It's
feels
been a
like
long
not
time.
that. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a rough couple of years. At least they're not the Jets. Could be worse.
Yeah, I don't understand why there are Jets fans out there in the world, but I
hope
mean,
there's at
they
least
got them. Well,
Oh.
maybe now that they have Aaron Rodgers, I don't know, but anyways,
I hope there's at least one superintendent or somebody out there throwing their clip. Jets are the best. Just
yeah,
going bananas right now.
yeah.
But Mets Yankees.
I grew up a Mets fan, and then I stopped caring about baseball. Now I would probably lean towards the Yankees just with their history and things, and
That's
knowing how good they are. But I grew up whenever Mike Piazza was there, and some other players that I liked as a kid. Went to some games.
It also,
So-
I feel like, again, given the age and all that, Yankees they were on their, AL East champions like 10 years in a row or whatever. So it was, it got kind of tough to cheer for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, can
Yeah,
someone
for
else
sure.
win?
For
I'd like to
sure.
see someone else in the postseason, but I don't know.
Yeah.
As a Yankees fan myself, I was pretty okay with it. Well, that's very cool. That's quite the trip, Brandon. That's feel lucky that we got you here, given all of the places in the world. Like
Oh, I
parents could have
know.
gone anywhere other
Apparently,
than
my dad
Pflugerville.
had like he worked in the restaurant business, and he had an opportunity to go to Miami actually, and this was before we moved here. But my mom was afraid of hurricanes, and so she said, "Absolutely not. We're not going to Miami." And they chose Texas.
traded hurricanes for 100-degree days every
Yeah.
day of the
Well,
summer.
It's probably a little bit cooler back then, but
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. No, it's just a coincidence, right? That's all. It's just
yeah, exactly.
Mr. Arias, if you could have coffee with any historical figure, say historical figure, just anyone out there.
Someone dead or alive doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's ignore language barriers and all that.
Yeah,
And I'm even willing to open it up to fictional characters.
Oh man, okay. Well, real characters, I would have to pick Leonardo da Vinci. First of all, if we're getting coffee, we're gonna get coffee in Italy. Get a really good espresso. Not this
So your
drip
dad's in the
coffee here in
restaurant
America.
business.
No Americanos. But no, so yeah, I think Leonardo da Vinci. I mean, I've always been fascinated by him, and just reading some stuff about him and like all of his codex pages and things and sketches and drawing a helicopter like a flying machine and all of the things that he knew about, and it's just incredible. I wouldn't know how to even talk to him because the guy was just a genius, and he would write things backwards and mirrored. So just super complex guy, but it'd be cool to talk to him.
I think of some of those people, and I'm not the brightest bulb in the bunch, but I get by.
Yeah.
And there are people that I talk to that I go like, oh, that person's really smart. And then there's other people I talk to as like, we can't have a conversation. Like
Yeah.
you're on such a different level that
I
you're
don't know
ma-
how to talk to you.
yeah, you're making so many assumptions
Yeah.
that I don't have any knowledge of, that like there's just no common language at all. And I feel that would be so scary to me to meet someone like a Da Vinci or some of those other great polymaths.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I want to know so much about how you've gotten to where you're at.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if I'll be able to understand if you'll tell me. Like, you could be speaking perfectly clear English, and
Yeah.
it might as well be Mandarin, because I'm just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, got nothing here.
Which, yeah, that brings me up to, I had to actually have a second one, like Stephen Hawking. I'm really big into like astronomy. Actually took astronomy my freshman year. And there was a moment that I contemplated, changing my major from engineering to astronomy. My professor, he studied supermassive black holes. One of the biggest
cool.
researchers in that, and
Well, especially
all
lately
that
with
was
LIGO
really,
and all that, it's been such a hot topic the last couple decade or so.
yeah, absolutely. So just everything involving space, and just if you think about space and how small we are, it's just absolutely mind blowing.
We're going off the deep end now. I like it.
Oh yeah, I could talk about this for hours. But like if you think about it, I think the closest galaxy to us is like 2.5 million light years away from us, and a light year is like 6 trillion miles. So if you just think about how small we are, it's just insane.
And side note here,
Yeah.
little James trivia nugget. Whenever I was a wee little lad, I was like, I want to be an astronomer.
Really?
I want to go do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got to middle school, and I was like, astronomers don't drive cool cars to make lots of money. I want to do something
You're
else.
stuck doing research and you're really not making anything.
In retrospect, I was like, oh, there's other ways to make money than just your 9-to-5 job.
Right.
But have an extreme interest myself. A couple years ago, girlfriend got me a nice telescope for a birthday. That was like
Oh,
probably
that's cool.
one of the best gifts ever.
Yeah, that's
but-
my wedding registry.
Getting married soon. Hold on now. We'll come back to this. So that would, I know you've been dating the lovely young lady for a while there now,
Yep.
but is this turn into an official thing in the near future?
As far as like getting married?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We get married September 16th
Well,
this year.
That's around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
like
are
less
you
than
ready?
50 days. Oh yeah. Ready. We
There was
we're, like,
almost too much
beyond-
confidence in that answer. You've got me feeling nervous for you now.
No, yeah. I mean, we've been dating for 6 years. Lived together for probably like 5 years. We have a dog together. We have a house together. So naturally the next step was to get married. So definitely, like, without a doubt, ready.
Very cool.
As
Well,
far as like details and like wedding planning, that's still in progress. So
Okay.
we're getting close though.
fundamentally
close.
though, like the big blocks,
Yeah.
you're feeling good about it. Oh, congratulations,
good.
man.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely get that on your registry. Now back to space and all those interesting things. You were mentioning that space is so large and all that. And to some people, I think it leaves them feeling nihilistic and bleak, and like, oh, nothing matters. And to me, it's more liberating in the positive sense. Like you can do anything you want. Like there's
Yeah, I mean, we only have so much time, on Earth. So yeah, like we make of what we want with our lives. I don't think there's time to think that we don't matter, because we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's
Um,
go enjoy what you're doing. Don't spend your life doing something a job that you don't
Yeah, don't-
enjoy or
Exactly. Don't waste your time doing things like that. If you have hobbies, if you love traveling, go travel. That's something that we love traveling. And so whenever we spend money, we spend it on the things that we like. Sure, we still like, materialistic things. But
Still an American.
at the same time, we're not going to not do something that we want to do because of money. You know, we're getting married. We're taking 2 weeks off for our honeymoon, and then we get back, and then we're going to go to ACL. We're going to go to Formula One.
Nice.
So, I mean, we're living our lives, you know, the way we want. So
That's I think that's the right way to go about it.
Yeah. for sure.
It's too short and it's too sweet to not love every second of it.
Exactly.
Never know what's going to happen. Excuse me.
No, you're good.
So, yeah, that's. You said you had was it a professor that you had that was studying supermassive black holes,
Yep.
and that kind of. What held you back from going all in on that aspect and saying, you know what, I'm going to go be an astronomer or an astrophysicist or?
I think it was hard to actually commit to that, knowing that I could have a really good career if I followed engineering, and I still loved it. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I don't like engineering, so I'm just going to go to astronomy. I just think that I found that one class really interesting, and I wanted to learn more. And you know, just kind of thinking, well, what if I change my major and do this and pursue this, and you know, what would that look like? But I think, you know, going the engineering route would definitely take me a lot farther. So I stuck with it.
I've always thought it'd be cool to go build some of those telescopes. Some
Oh.
of the, some of the ones that are on top of a mountain down in Chile or what have
Well,
you.
those, and then actually, I last weekend, I think it was, I watched a little documentary of I think it was NASA, you know, building the James Webb telescope that was launched, I think, earlier part of this year, and just looking at their challenges and how they engineered it was really incredible.
The fact that they literally used origami to figure out how this thing's gonna fold up
Yeah.
and stack on top of itself.
Yeah.
To package
And
this
how they
thing up.
could exactly how they can package it into a rocket, and then they put it in like essentially a chamber and just vibrated it to simulate, you know, it being on a rocket. And like there was, I think they mentioned like over 300 single points of failure. So if one thing happened, it would pretty much be compromised. And so there were, you know, as they launched it, you know, there were X amount of single points of failure. If one thing happened, it would be, yeah, it's no good. So it's just absolutely mind blowing.
I can't imagine
Yeah.
the stress on all those folks making sure like did we get it all right?
Right.
Every one of those solder joints, every nut and bolt, every torque spec's got
Well,
to
they
be
mentioned
spot
that
on.
they had to, I think, find every single bolt because the ones that they used, I think, during one of their tests, the bolts were failing or they were coming loose. And so they had to go find every single bolt and replace it with something
Oh my
else.
God.
Yeah.
Not a job I envy for anybody.
No.
But what a cool project. I mean, seeing some of the images out there now that it's capturing and
Oh,
all
yeah.
that, it's incredible.
Absolutely incredible.
We are live. Be careful. Were you a recent volunteer for any projects that we were pursuing?
No.
No,
But I know the one you're referencing. I thought about it, but I don't know if I could commit to it, especially with getting married. You know,
Yeah,
it would
that's
be a change in lifestyle that not sure if I'm ready for.
Hey, though, you might get a good tour at some
yeah,
point, right? Make a
yeah.
group trip. Who knows?
It would be really cool, though. It would be cool.
Definitely. You mentioned traveling a lot, and that's kind of how you and your wife like to spend your time and your idea of having fun and all that. Do you have any bucket list spots, things that you're trying to get to that you haven't yet?
Yeah, I mean, we want to go to like Australia, and you know, last year we were supposed to go to Germany for Oktoberfest, but we couldn't make that happen. But we're doing some cool stuff this year.
Have you heard about New Zealand?
Have heard of New Zealand.
I don't know if you caught Mr. Grammer's live stream, but he was shocked to learn about New Zealand.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well,
Oh.
I'll send you the clip. We talking to him doing this exact
Yeah.
thing. He goes, "Do you know about New Zealand?" I'm like,
It's not a hidden.
"Yeah, it's
country.
on a map. It's been known about for centuries."
Yeah.
What are you getting at here?
I actually know someone from New Zealand, so
Oh,
maybe
the
you give me
Kiwi.
some pointers. And,
They
yeah,
talk so funny.
they
I
do.
love it.
They
I
do.
love it. It's adorable.
Yeah.
And I think the worst transgression you could have for either an Aussie or a Kiwi is to mistake one for the other.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I'm sure
They're
they don't
like, no,
that.
don't do that.
Well, it's like me. Like my parents are from. They're both from El Salvador. So when people call me Mexican, I'm like, there's a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Caucasian defense, there's 7
Oh,
countries
I know.
that are
I
right
don't know where
there.
you're from.
Yeah. And
That's funny.
I would imagine in Texas is probably you get a lot more people that are more aware. You know what I mean? But and also in Queens, yeah, that's certainly there's
Oh, yeah.
a bit of everything
So
there.
many. Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly.
but it is kind of fun to think of because you look at a state like Texas or half the states in America, and you could take those Central American countries and fit them into like one state. And I don't know, it's just kind of interesting how culturally different those countries are.
yeah.
Yet we'll throw them all in a state, and it's like, oh, get along, guys, have fun.
Well, similar to Europe. I mean, you fit, I'm sure, like France and Spain and Portugal and all that, literally in Texas.
Yeah.
So something like that.
Have you ever gone back to El Salvador?
Oh, I've never been.
No.
Single
Any
time.
desires to go? Is that on travel list?
None.
No.
No. I don't want to go there.
All right. Well, on
Um,
to the next topic.
my parents actually they came to the U.S. because of the Civil War that was going on over there.
Oh wow. Okay.
And they told me some pretty crazy stories, people dying and bombs and whatever happening, and they're recruiting people, and they would just like literally grab men and whatever and like put them in the army, and just literally no interest
It's
in going.
and that's where I think people I don't want to say take for granted, right? Because I hope I wish that no one in the world ever had to go through that.
Yeah.
But it's an unfortunate reality. Whether you be talking about Central or South American countries or Middle East or currently over in Africa and all that, like those things happen, and it's just whenever you're off and enjoying your latte and sitting in traffic and all that, people are
Yeah.
quick to get flustered and all that.
Yeah,
It's,
first world problems.
It's not so bad here.
It's
No,
not.
no one's trying
It's
to
not.
round you up and sign you up for some list or
Yeah.
telling you no, you cannot leave. We are not going to let you leave.
For sure.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I can feel the humility, if you will, coming off you in that
Yeah,
regard. So,
thanks.
what would you say you are most proud of, whether it be work related or elsewise? What's your most proud moment or achievement?
I would say, I don't know. I think just making it as far as I did. I have a lot of family that I guess didn't have the luxury of going to university and things like that. I still have family in New York where they're still living with their parents in your 30s, 40s, whatever, and kind of still live in the same household. But I think my sister and I were really fortunate to have the parents that we did, to especially everything that they went through. So I remember just kind of growing up. We would eat dinner at our dining table. My dad would be like, "Hey, like you're gonna be going to college, or sorry, like your freshman year in high school, like you need to start thinking about having a good GPA." Kind of that talk. And then senior year, it's like, hey, now you want to go to college. Like, where do you want to go? And then graduating from college, it's like, hey, like now you got to find a really good job. Like, start thinking about that and exploring different things. And just, I feel like really fortunate, I guess, in having the opportunity to do that and make something of that, and helping, just contribute with my parents and things like that. I'd say that, and then just work related. I think working on the Quincy, I think was probably one of my more fun projects and something I'm really proud of. Especially you drive down 35 and you can see it, and just kind of, I don't know, every time I look at it I'm like, man, like we actually built that and spent all that time and effort and man hours and things like that. So I would probably say that project was probably my most proud.
Very cool. Yeah, that's definitely a cool project and one that you literally can't miss unless you,
Yeah.
I guess, unless you're short of sight. That's a unfortunate position to be in, but
Yeah.
that is such a cool building, and not to go too soft on or anything like that, but I was scrolling through condos and stuff for sale in Austin the other day and saw the affordable housing stuff that's available in the Quincy. I don't know what percentage of it or whatever is
Yeah, it's not
allocated
a lot.
for affordable housing, but like I feel like that's one of those kind of feel good moments where it's doing some good for folks. Those that may not be able to stay here elsewise or what have you because they're under that 80% of the median income or whatever the qualification is, knowing that like, hey, I contributed to making sure that we don't gentrify everything in the city.
Yeah, definitely.
Giving them someplace to stay and someplace that's nice, you know what I mean? Well finished with nice amenities and all that, and not some apartment full of ants and a leaky roof and no AC.
Yeah.
Because that, I mean, to your point about living in New York in a small apartment, all like that can mean a lot to somebody. You know what I mean? Having someplace they can call home and that they're proud to be at. So being able to inject that feeling into people is definitely nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
It sounds like your father was definitely a bit of a mentor for you, and I know you mentioned that you've had some people at RO that have been good advocates for you. I'd be curious to hear, both in and out of RO, who have been some of your strongest advocates.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of, again, because I kind of worked in different cities, and I mean, I would say starting with like, Christine Shang, whenever I was a VDC intern, she was a really good mentor for me then. And I remember that she motivated us to read some management books and things like that, and we would go to Starbucks and kind of just talk about everything that we read and learned, which I think was super cool. She's probably mad at me, but I'm pretty sure I spark noted my book and had some really good insight walking to Starbucks. But I think that was really cool. And then just working with some people in Dallas, I think Steve Pesnell I worked with him for a bit at Legacy West, and he was just kind of scary I avoided him as much as I could, because you talk to him, and if you didn't have the answer, like, you were kind of SOL. Like, you needed to know what he was going to ask you, which again, that I think that was still really good, because that motivated me to, hey, like, I know that I'm going to talk to him. Like, I need to know kind of everything about everything on this job, and if I don't, then I need to find out, like ASAP. So he doesn't yell at me. And then here in Austin, I mean, I think I work with Mitch Kennedy on a couple projects, and I mean, man, I loved working with that guy. Really good mentor as well. Thomas Lucas as well. Taught me a lot of good things. How to stay organized and run effective meetings, and how important communication is, and don't make assumptions, and things like that. So kind of learned a lot from everyone that I've worked with.
Yeah, that's definitely like an all-star team there that you've got assembled. But
exactly.
That's I think it goes to show that there's just so many good people here at RO that are willing to help people out, whether it be even if it is through Spark Notes occasionally, right? You still got that insight.
I still got all the information I need.
Or using borderline fear tactics to get you to actually read the plans, read the submittals, and read the RFIs and all that. Or people are the patient type and willing to explain to you how they do things and why they do them that way, and how they got to that end point. It goes to show too, there's not a single approach to being a mentor, being a leader as well. There's, I feel like a lot of people look at leadership and think like, oh, I need to be a manager, a VP or whatever to be a leader. No way, man.
Yeah.
That's up to anybody. If you can get someone to grow off of your learnings, you're leading them, know it or not, whether you be a fresh PE or a 30-year PM, you're equally as qualified to be a leader.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, sorry for the coughing there.
No, you're good.
Hopefully that audio setup's dialed in and it's not blowing out people's ears on the other end. We have a couple minutes left here, and I think I saw that we had a question, and I believe Mr. Josh is going to read us that question.
Yep, we've got a question from Anthony Carchi.
Oh, I knew it. I'm not answering it.
It says, why does Brandon not like spicy food? For example, jalapeno kolaches.
Well, Karchi doesn't know me very well because I love spicy food. I'm just kidding. No, for me, I am a pretty picky eater. I'm trying to get better. But personally, jalapeno is not something I enjoy. So, Karchi, I feel like we've talked about this before, so I don't know why you're asking this.
I think he's just trying to call you out here.
I think so too. I'll call him out. Karchi, I'll call you after this.
So that is kind of interesting though, because you like to travel, but you're a picky eater.
It's a little tough. But but whenever I travel, I do try to get out of my comfort zone. I also hate roller coasters, but we just went to Disney or a couple weekends ago and went on multiple roller coasters and just said I'm doing it.
Just
Kinda the same
committed to
thing.
it.
You just gotta commit to it. But if I'm here and there's roller coasters, no, I don't want to do it.
What, is fear of heights? Is it the fear of mechanical
Fear of
failure?
heights, yeah, exactly. You
Too
know,
much
I
awareness.
don't want Final Destination 3 to happen to me. I don't think that's the way I want to go out.
Oh man! As soon as you think to like, I feel like you can talk yourself into being like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Then you see something on the news once every 5 years about like a restraint fails or whatever. I remember a couple years back there, I think it was at Disney, someone like didn't get clipped in
Oh yeah.
properly or whatever, and they
fell
came
off
flying
and
out. Yeah.
There was a photo I feel like a month or so ago of like a column that was cracked and they submitted it to whatever park it was and made the news. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah, it's pretty insane.
I don't know if that'd be like the best way to go out or the worst way to go out.
I feel like it'd be one of the worst ways to go out.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, you're out there like you're having a blast, and then it's just like,
True.
oh, well, this
I guess
is
true.
this is it, I guess.
Yeah.
Things to ponder at
Yeah.
1:56 in the afternoon. Sorry
Yeah.
for bringing you down here.
Oh, you're good, man. What other questions we got? Is that it?
Just
Oh,
cart
just
you
the
out
one
there
question?
crashing
Just,
about.
Karchi,
Just
give me another
jalapenos.
question. Is he still on?
He just sent you a heart. That's all.
He sent you
Oh.
a heart.
Very kind of him.
He's engaging. Hey, props for that, right?
Oh man.
So, just got a couple minutes left here.
Sure.
If you had to give young Brandon some advice, what would you tell young Brandon?
To invest in Bitcoin. I literally I had a teaching assistant that would not stop talking about Bitcoin when I was a senior in college back when it was like $200 a coin. And I was like, that's insane. I'm not going to buy I didn't know what it was. And yeah, so I feel like I should have listened to him and my older self telling my younger self, like, do it.
Do you like to take risky investments?
Yeah, sometimes.
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 That-
It depends.
Bitcoin would have paid off well, but there's
yeah.
also a pretty strong argument to be made that Bitcoin at the wrong time or almost any other cryptocurrency could have gone the other direction
Oh, absolutely.
and just left you short $200
Absolutely.
rather than 60 grand up or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's man.
I feel like my TA is literally swimming in just cash right now.
He could have been an astronomer, spent more time around the TAs and all that. Maybe that
Right.
would have changed it for you. Could have retired on Bitcoin at 24 years old, coming out of UT with a degree in astrophysics as an astrophysicist.
Sorry, excuse me.
Instead, we
Cheers.
got you. So I'm fortunate
Yeah, now
for
I'm
that,
here.
if nothing
Now
else.
I'm here.
I'm super stoked that you're here, Brandon. And I
it.
know I let off with it, and I don't want to sound like I'm just trying to butter you up, but I do. Bruno or Hagen or someone mentioned your engagement with the innovation station and all that, and I love spending time and getting to talk with people like yourself, and I think people like you are going to be the reason that construction changes for the better. It'd be real easy for this industry to just pull people in and chew them up and spit them out, be highly extractive, and maintain nothing but the bottom line. Race to the bottom type of environment. But with folks like yourself around to, again, come at things with that critical eye and say, I think we could be doing this better. I think there's a way to improve this, and I think this is how we
Right.
can do it. That's how we make sure the ship sails in the right direction.
Well, yeah, and that's what I also love about RO. It's how can we do something better, more efficient, easier for everyone? How can we save time? So, just testing out different technologies. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and move on. But the fact that we want to invest time and money into finding new things that, like you said, could change the construction industry, I think it's worth the risk. And yeah,
Hiltonator for all.
Hiltonator. Yeah, I was kind of mad that they didn't pick that one. I felt really good about it.
They're European.
Yeah.
Have a
That's true.
softer approach to security. Their police don't even carry firearms, so they probably have like, oh my god, what tasers?
Yeah.
That's a little extreme.
Yeah.
Wow.
It
I
would work
loved it.
here. It would work here.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, Brandon, thank you again
Yeah,
for
for sure.
coming and sitting with us for a little bit. Thank you to everyone who jumped on board to hear about Brandon and his life and his experiences. Had a lot of fun with this one. And no major things going on today, but shout out to Steve Pesnell, Christine Shang, Mitch Kennedy, Thomas Lucas. You all are huge influences on people like Brandon, myself, and all that. So if you're out there and you see someone that has a hungry young mind, go help them out. Not just those four, but everyone.
Yeah, I'm sure I left people out, but
there's a lot of them
there's
out
a
there.
mentor everywhere.
Yeah.
People that care.
So thank you again, Brandon.
Yeah,
And
appreciate it.
we'll be back next Wednesday at 1 with another fantastic guest for a R&D live stream. See you next week.
Go Giants.